What's up, everyone? So, I don't know how this video is going to be received, but I feel like this video is way past due just to give my sentiments on what I've seen in the Kenya Basketball Federation over the time I've been there. In my capacity, I've been a Whoopi Sport reporter for since last year, and I've managed to really be in a team that has been able to cover the NBA playoffs, the Nairobi Basketball Association playoffs from when they start to the end. Then also the KBF playoffs, like 90% of the whole playoff run. We're able to put it on Whoopi Sport, a platform that group of guys just came together and just built it. But that's not the story for today. Today I just want to talk about the state of the basketball fraternity, the Kenya Basketball Federation as an entity, because I've seen a lot of things and I just want to shed some light on it in a video and just give my 2 cents of what I've seen. So currently the league playoffs and finals, they came to a close in April and end of April, and they have since been nullified based on a court ruling last week. And given the whole situation, you're seeing a situation where KBF are just operating as usual. You're seeing teams just going in and playing. Right in their Facebook group, I saw the ZTech versus Kisumu Lakeside game was set to be played, despite the fact that Kisumu Lakeside and Ulinzi had they were in that at the helm of that legal battle, and also Ulinzi had their game this weekend against the Thunder. That was on Saturday, and KBF are just taking things as usual, despite the ruling saying that the playoffs should be nullified. They are not should be nullified. They are nullified, and they're going to start at the point where Kisumu Lakeside versus Ulinzi in the first round. So Lakeside are proceeding to play with Strathmore. Then the winner coming out of that bracket goes and faces KPA. So KPA versus the winner of either Strathmore or Lakeside, given the whole situation, how it unfolded. So you're seeing this in this federation is being indicted by a group of lawyers who are fighting for the interests of basketball, and just to see if they can restore basketball in its glory back here in our country. So that is the whole like situation in a nutshell. And honestly, I feel the federation just continuing like this, it's watering down any efforts to be able to grow this sport, because unfortunately, if you have a league that doesn't adhere to even any court ruling that has been sanctioned against them, they are not even taking it seriously. They're just taking it lightly. But we just see how this situation unfolds, because it's still in development. And from what I gather from from the outside looking in, you can see also it's still under development. And given the fact that the league is still going on as usual, there's a situation where the legal team will go back to court to seek maybe an injunction or something on basketball operations. That's just me. But putting that aside and putting that out of the way, there are just a couple of observations that I've seen, even when I've been there physically at the Nyayo Stadium, just to be able to cover these games. And these are things that not many times I've mentioned, but today I'm just taking it upon myself just to mention them, because I feel like I think this video is past due. I should have brought this up, but now today I just thought about it and just giving my 2 cents on it. So moving on to the next, I feel like the facility is subpar, given the fact that it's Nyayo Stadium. There has to be a bit of cleanliness and renovation in it. The facility is not the greatest, especially in their sanitation department. They're not looking good. I doubt if there's any water even going into the facility, because sometimes during the games when the washroom door is left open, man, it's it's sad. You just feel that, bad, stench coming in to the court, and actually it affects both the fans and the players. And I don't know if the federation is addressing this thing, because this is something that really puts off even any new fans, any new guests who are going to just come in, purchase a ticket from the gate, and come and watch a game. So this rather just puts them off a lot, because poor sanitation, I mean, this thing really affects even the well-being of the players. Even an outbreak can even occur. You don't even know if even a disease can be even lacking in the restrooms. So you don't want that situation. You don't want a health hazard, because poor sanitation, that's something that they need to look out. And I mean, it's upsetting every time you're seated there. Then you're a new guy who just wants to enjoy Kenyan basketball. Then you're hit with that, you hit with that stench, and it's not looking good. So that's one thing that I just observed. And another thing, which is actually a major thing, it's just there's a lack of marketing in the league. I mean, there's no marketing going into it. Okay, Whoopi Sport, I'm a part of Whoopi Sport. We are trying to bring this sport and build up, good, or just build up the basketball community by giving the basketball to these people through the internet. But from the league side, they are not even doing any efforts to at least even market their league. There are no banners, there are no sponsored ads, there are no social media posts, there is no effort in even making any awareness from their side. So how do you expect a league to grow if internally their own structures, they can't even build on their own platforms? They can't do any slight marketing to at least make the league even successful. So this is one thing that I saw, and it's very sad, because if you don't market it, especially in this digital age, from your end, from the federation's end, it becomes very hard to be able to attract new audiences, new people, new fans to come even support your game, because the sports, it's mainly entertainment. You have to attract and retain the fans. If you can't attract and retain the fans, you're not going to be able to grow at the rate that you want to grow. You're not going to be able to increase ticket sales. Your ticket sales are going to be stagnant. The only fans that you're going to have are the actual players who have played the previous game and just want to watch the next game. So you're not attracting the casual fan who just wants to watch some basketball. So that's one thing that I saw evident, and they have to at least fix that. Even at least even hire someone to do marketing on their platforms. That's one thing that they have to do, because if you don't market it, you won't reach as many people, and you won't be able to get any ROI, return on investment, even at the gate. So they have to understand, the federation has to understand that this is a fan-based league and it's pegged on entertainment. Not only sporting, not only is it important for you to put it all together for the athletes, but also put it all together for the fans as well. And this is one thing that honestly I can say they just failed at. Previously, a couple of months ago, I made a video on the reason why Kenyan basketball is folding, because they're not able to market them, and the Kenya Basketball Federation is being passed by other federations like FUBA from Uganda and SSB Fed from South Sudan, and also Rwanda, FAWABA. So they are losing in that battle, and because these other federations know how to utilize the internet and its resources to be able to attract and retain new fans to follow. So that's one thing that the federation has failed at, and it's saying that they have failed is an understatement, because they have not done anything to address that. And also, just on to my next thing I just want to talk about is the lack of a formal communication on games and changes on the fixtures. You can see the fixtures keep on changing, and there's no way you can be able to track those fixtures changes. And as the only time you get to know that that game has changed is when you're talking to the team managers or even talking to even the referees during the game. They can tell you this game changed maybe. So this is one thing that they need to address as well. If you're changing the fixtures just haphazardly and not following due process or due procedure, how is it going to be effective on you to be able to market that game? Let's say, for example, you want to market that game and you change that fixture, or that game the fixture hasn't changed but it was rendered a walkover because the other team pulled out even before the game happened. So this really hampers, even it bottlenecks even the marketing that you want to do on the league, because you're not even sure what game is going to be played this weekend. And also the way the fixtures delay, it's just sad because you want to have a way that you can market it. Like, for example, Whoopi Sport, they try to market these games before so that you can have a build up on it. But when the fixtures just arrive so late, you're not able to even find a way to even market that game so that people can build up some excitement and have something to look forward to in the weekend. So that is one thing that also hampers even the growth of even attracting that new casual fan, and also retaining the fans who come and tune into those to those games. Yeah, so I mean, that's one thing that the league needs to address: the constant changes in fixtures and information not being relayed to the masses, not only to the TMs but also to the masses. They have to find a way to say that this game changed, the way the NBA does it. When something happens, is a formal communication, and they use their platforms to be able to relay that. Also, the NBA also has an NBA communications page that is verified. So if you want to check anything breaking in the league, they release a statement. In the Kenya Basketball Federation, they lack that, and that's really one of the reasons why it really hampers any development that you try. It's hard, even especially in marketing, because I'm very conversant in digital marketing, so as well as being a reporter. So marketing is very important to be able to put your product out there. If you're not able to put a product out there and represent it well, it creates a bad reputation and a bad taste to your people who are following it. So that's one thing that they need to change on. And also, just moving forward, the officiating of the game still remains wanting. It's not the best. It's surely, I'm not saying that, I'm not going off a limb and saying it's the worst officiating, but I'm saying it's not the best, because a couple of times you can see a lot of missed calls. You can see someone is not whistled for travel, or you can see there's a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2 foul. It's not whistled, it's just whistled as a common foul. And those are one of those things that hamper the integrity of of basketball in the games. And officiating is one of them, because you can see players who are drawn to play in the national team really struggle, because the calls that they get away with when they're playing in the Kenya Basketball Federation, when they leave Kenya and go outside to play, let's say in this year, in the next 2 weeks, they're going to be playing in Cairo, Egypt, Senegal, Egypt, and also they're gonna play, what else? There are 3 teams, and also Congo DR. Yeah, I forgot about that. But back to my point, I'm saying the fouls that they keep on getting away with when they are playing in the federation, they won't be able to get away with them when they go outside, because can see a situation, they know the officials, they can be knowing the game officials, so some officials can let them off the hook. But when you go outside in international games outside your country, you don't know any officials, so when you do something, they're more strict and you get called on. So that's one of those things that they need to work on, and they need to at least be competent in officiating, because if they don't do that, it's going to hamper the integrity of the game. So this is one thing that they have to check on. And if they don't do that, players, when they can be successful here in the federation, in the country, but when they go outside, they struggle, because some of the calls that they keep getting away with here, they won't be able to get away with them there. So that's one observation that I saw. And also, there are so many missed calls. When you watch the game live, and you also can player cam and also look at the referees, you can just see the way they officiate the games sometimes can be a little bit biased, especially in high stakes games. So man, it costs us. Not only does it cost you the fan, but also cost the integrity of the game. It also costs the players who are going to be playing outside. So one of those things that I saw was that, and man, and also another huge point that I saw, and it's something that is really, stifling the development of this sport, is the lack of sponsors or investors in this league. Couple of years ago, I saw Mad Goat wanted to invest here in the Kenya Basketball Federation. I saw a check that was written for 100 million. We are yet to get any reports on what really happened with Mad Goat. I don't know what really happened with Mad Goat. Maybe something happened, but the federation is not coming out clearly and telling us. But honestly, you cannot grow if you don't have, a good product that you're shipping. Also, as an investor who is coming in, he has to see a good product that is being shipped out. So if a potential investor comes out and finds all these holes in the federation, the poor officiating, the lack of formal communications on games and fixtures changing, lack of marketing on their side of the league, the facility being subpar, the league playoff politics, especially right now, and the league playoffs have been nullified. It really doesn't encourage a sponsor to come and put in their money in. So all these things that are happening in this federation currently, even with the playoffs being nullified, the court cases, the sport dispute tribunal coming in. So those are the things that really hamper even a potential sponsor. And also, just to add on, even the BAL, people are more comfortable in sponsoring BAL activities as opposed to federation activities. So that's one thing that they needed to understand, because if they are not able to compete with other federations the way they are doing, the integrity of the sport just falls down. So, and last but not least, and this is one of those things that I saw, and it really pains me, and it's actually one of the reasons why I took an interest in being part of Whoopee Sport and also just covering games, is the lack of media coverage in games. There's no media coverage. Whoopee Sport have just done tremendous work, excellent exemplary work in putting the games online on YouTube, and finding a situation where you don't even have, the league doesn't even have their own vault or archives on how they can be able to manage their footage. This is something that is really hampering, even the development of the sport and the league and the popularity of the league. Because if you look at other sports, you can see that there's an investment in it. You can see even sports like rugby, to some extent, they're able to attract sponsors and be able to have good media coverage. If you look at, Kenyan basketball, especially the way the federation is being run, they don't even have their own video coordinators. They have no cameras. They have nothing. So the games just, tip off. They play the game as usual. Everyone just leaves. There's no record of the game. You can't even go back and watch that game because there's no one who's covering. Even the referees, the league has not even facilitated in putting up cameras and doing even video assistant refereeing. Even they don't even have VAR for basketball, which they should have, because when you have like media coverage sponsored by the league itself, and you're able to see a call that you can be able to overturn, like the way the NBA does, you can be able to go back and review you can be able to go back and replay a snippet of how the game unfolded at that time to see if you're going to call a call or not, a foul call or any call during the game. So this is one thing that they don't have, and also having a lack of media coverage directly corresponds to even the poor officiating, because you can see a referee saw one thing, but when you check the video, the replay in the Jumbotron, if they had the Jumbotron, you could see they can be able to make a good, clear decision on what happened. Because if you look at even the games live, there's so many calls that shouldn't be calls and so many missed calls that occurred. So just to sum up, there's so much that needs fixing. This is a potential grocery list of things that are hampering even the progression of this sport. So this is my take on it. This is just the state I saw, and it's honestly pretty depressing, and I feel like if we're able to address these issues, the Kenya Basketball Federation League would be in a better place than it is right now, because if they continue like this, the sport will just keep regressing and instead of progressing, and you're not going to be able to get any value from, you know, even the players. They're not going to get any value from the league, and also their fans cannot be able to get any value from watching the games. So until all these things are addressed, that's the only way that Kenyan basketball can be able to compete and contend with other bigger federations like South Sudan, the Federation, FAWABA in Rwanda, and also FUBA in Uganda. So, yeah, also FUBA. Just a side note, FUBA live streams their games on their YouTube channel. So that's that. You can see South Sudan. They try to put together some clips. They're very active on their social media, which is great. FAWABA also streams their games. They are very active on the social media, but you look at the Kenya Basketball Federation, the last time they tweeted was like 3 years ago. Their Instagram has been so weak. They don't even post any formal communication, which a federation should be doing. They don't do that. So, I mean, we live in very interesting times, and the federation just needs to turn it around and be able to make some changes moving forward. So that's my take on it, and I'm just interested to see what you guys think on the comments, because man, there's just a lot that needs to be fixed, and a lot of things need fixing. And I'm out. Peace.